Forefront Radio. My name is Afia Levi. I'm the host of the Forefront Radio, available on TikTok, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and other platforms. Today we're going to talk about America's schizophrenic relationship with so-called minorities. That's right, America's schizophrenic, even bipolar relationship with so-called minorities. Number one, when you examine the United States, they have always postulated themselves as the bastion of freedom, hope, and the American way and justice. When in reality, the experience of so called minorities is not that. For example, the native indigenous populations were promised various things through treaties and other forms of connectivity with the United States in forms of providing them resources for the atrocities committed by the United States. However, when you examine, for example, the situation happening in North Dakota and South Dakota, the treaties that the United States passed with the indigenous populations, they reneged on them all. Number two, when you examine the relationship between the descendants of enslaved persons, aka African Americans and Afro Caribbean people, the Americas have promised 40 acres and a mule. They've promised to restore various things that they would give to the Black community. However, the bipolarness of this nation state, the schizophrenic relationship, is thus. Every plan, every situation that they have given, they've taken 2 steps forward and 1,000 feet backwards. They promised civil rights, but now in modern times, they argue against diversity and inclusion. They argue against various things that are dealing with the so-called Black community in regards to police brutality and government corruption and government complicity in the various forms of abuse and mistreatment that so-called African Americans and other minority groups are having to experience here in the States. They promised them 40 acres and a mule, but you had practices such as redlining, you had practices such as unequal housing, unequal education, unequal markets as far as payments, less payments for wages, minimum wages. They told you that they would set you free from slavery and involuntary servitude, except if you would be charged for a crime. So the first couple of laws that they passed was trespassing laws and vagrancy laws, proving to you folks that the relationship with the United States of America and so-called minorities is that of a bipolar, schizophrenic relationship. They make promises and concessions at one moment, and then years down the line, they turn around and renege on those deals and reverse those deals and reverse those contracts. So now, why is this information important? It is important because this is written in biblical-based prophecy. In Lamentations chapter 4, verse 10, it says, "Our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us," showing you that the biblical-based prophecies in Lamentations chapter 4, verse 10, proves that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the lost tribes of the Israelites. And what we see in Western culture are examples of the generational curses that fit our people. Thank you for listening to the Forefront Radio. With that, we say peace to the 12. Shalom.